What did Jesus Christ suffer? Jesus Christ suffered a bloody sweat, a cruel scourging, was crowned with thorns, and was crucified. On what day did Christ die? Christ died on Good Friday. Why do you call that day good on which Christ died so sorrowful a death? We call that day good on which Christ died because by his death he showed his great love for man and purchased for him every blessing. Where did Christ die? Christ died on Mount Calvary. How did Christ die? Christ was nailed to the cross and died on it between two thieves. Why did Christ suffer and die? Christ suffered and died for our sins. What lessons do we learn from the sufferings and death of Christ? From the sufferings and death of Christ we learn the great evil of sin, the hatred God bears to it, and the necessity of satisfying for it. Where did Christ's soul go after his death? After Christ's death his soul descended into hell. Did Christ's soul descend into the hell of the damned? The hell into which Christ's soul descended was not the hell of the damned, but a place or state of rest called limbo, where the souls of the just were waiting for him. Why did Christ descend into limbo? Christ descended into limbo to preach to the souls who were in prison, that is, to announce to them the joyful tidings of their redemption. Where was Christ's body while his soul was in limbo? While Christ's soul was in limbo, his body was in the holy sepulchre. On what day did Christ rise from the dead? Christ rose from the dead, glorious and immortal, on Easter Sunday, the third day after his death. How long did Christ stay on earth after his resurrection? Christ stayed on earth 40 days after his resurrection to show that he was truly risen from the dead and to instruct his apostles. After Christ had remained 40 days on earth, whither did he go? After 40 days, Christ ascended into heaven, and the day on which he ascended into heaven is called Ascension Day. Where is Christ in heaven? In heaven, Christ sits at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. What do you mean by saying that Christ sits at the right hand of God? When I say that Christ sits at the right hand of God, I mean that Christ as God is equal to his Father in all things, and that as man he is in the highest place in heaven next to God.